Hello again, everyone. Continuing with Pittsburgh week, I'm going to look at the Steelers today. So last year, the Steelers 11-5 record. They're one of the best teams in the league right now, and Super Bowl contenders every season the last few years. And again, this upcoming year, I don't see them having a problem making the playoffs, and they'll probably have another deep playoff run, potentially make the Super Bowl again this upcoming season. They do play in the AFC North, which is a pretty competitive, tough division. You got the Bengals 10-5-1 last year, the Ravens 10-6, and then the Browns 7-9. The Browns do have 2 first-round picks this year, and I do think they're going to turn it around, maybe flip that record to 9-7 kind of thing. I don't think they'll compete for the division, but it'll be again a tough race between the Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens for who will win that division. It's guaranteed you're going to at least have to have a 10-6 season to win the AFC North. And I do think the Steelers have the talent to do that for sure. Obviously, Ben Roethlisberger is their quarterback, and he is the kind of quarterback that can lead a team to a successful season and lead a team to a Super Bowl. He's done it in the past. Last season, 408 for 608 attempts for 4,952 yards. He also had 32 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions, so that's really solid when your quarterback can almost go 4-1 on his touchdown to interception ratio. That's really impressive. Most teams would be happy with even a 2-1, 3-1. Once you get up to the 4-1 ratio, you're an elite quarterback kind of thing. Like I said, with a 2-1, if a quarterback threw 20 touchdowns to 10 picks, any coach and probably any team would be happy with that, would be okay with that. But Ben 32 to 9 picks, so that's really impressive. He also had a 67.1 completion percentage. Anytime you get a completion percentage that's over 66%, so over 2/3 of the time, that's awesome. That means first you have great receivers. Second, you have a quarterback that can read the field well, doesn't throw a lot of picks, finds the open receiver. And third, there's chemistry between the quarterback and his receivers, and that's definitely something they have. Their offense for the Steelers does revolve around the Brown Bell, in my opinion, kind of thing. You got Antonio Brown as your wide receiver and Le'Veon Bell as your running back. There are other players, obviously, that complement those guys. Heath Miller for tight end, and then you have Wheaton and Bryant, who are a couple other 2 wide receivers. Wheaton last year, 53 receptions, 644 yards. Bryant had 26 receptions for 549 yards and also 8 touchdowns. So that's a solid receiver right there. With Antonio Brown, though, he obviously is your number 1 receiver, and good reason for it. He had 129 receptions, almost 1,700 yards, 1,698 to be specific, and then 13 touchdowns. So that's really, really impressive to have for a wide receiver. Most wide receivers are happy if they get to 1,000 yards. He got over 1,500, kind of thing. So he's definitely the guy that, cornerbacks are going to be double teaming him, safeties are going to be cheating over to his side of the ball, and that's what opens up the field for guys like Wheaton and Bryant, who can get like over 500 yards in just 26 receptions, kind of thing. Obviously, Antonio Brown still got 129 receptions, so Roethlisberger's finding a way for him to get the ball. And, when you have an elite receiver like Brown, obviously, like I said, defenses are going to, try to double team him, try to cheat a safety over kind of thing. But when they're good like that, they find a way to get open. They find a way to get that ball, and that's what they do. Like I said, with Heath Miller, obviously been with the team for a long time as a tight end. He had 66 receptions for 761 yards and 3 touchdowns last year. So he's another good guy to have that can bounce off the line, get you those 3rd and 4s kind of thing with just a little hitch route, those kind of things. It's important to have a solid tight end that can be your receiver, just because it adds another weapon into your arsenal. Looking at Bell, obviously as a running back, 290 attempts. 1,361 yards, so that's 4.7 yards per attempt for an average, as well as 8 touchdowns. He also had 83 receptions for 854 yards and 3 touchdowns. So you have a player in Bell as a running back that can be a 1,000-yard rusher as well as a 1,000-yard receiver if given the opportunities and given the attempts to have that happen. So you do have a team with Brown and Bell, who those 2 guys alone can easily get 2,500 yards between the 2 of them. So any other player you get in there is going to get open, because defenses are going to pay attention to those 2 guys. So you're going to get other guys that are going to get the ball, and Roethlisberger's going to find them. And Brown and Bell and players like that who get on championship teams with football, it's a team game. Obviously, individual stats are great, but if Brown can be that kind of guy who just makes defenses pay attention to him and he opens the field up for other guys, that's fine. He's doing his job great. kind of thing. Because when you look at it, if there's a game and he only gets 3 receptions for 40 yards or something, well, clearly that means the defense was covering him well and paying attention to him. But then if you have Wheaton and Bryan and other receivers who get 5-6 receptions each, and they each get 85 plus yards in the game, well, then Brown did his job. He made the defense focus on him, open the field up for other guys, and you're going to win games like that. So they can be successful when you have players like that, who can control the tempo, control the defensive side of the ball with their talent, and without even making catches, without even making big runs, kind of thing. It's just because of the potential that can happen if they make those big catches and the big runs that they possess, the potential they possess, that if they make a reception that could go for big yards or anything like that, they make an impact on their team. Looking at Roethlisberger for his career, he's a 63.7% completion rating on his career. So again, like I said, anything close to 2/3 is fantastic. He's got 39,057 yards. So we could see him reach 40,000 yards maybe by week 4, week 5 kind of thing, depending on how they start off their season. He's got 251 touchdowns to 131 picks. So again, last year he had 32, so that could get him up to 283 this year if he has the same kind of season. I think he'll pass 275 touchdowns on his career, no problem, because that would be 24, so I think that's definitely doable. And if he can finish the season without cracking the 140 interception plateau, which would just be the same he did last year, only throwing 9, then that would take him up to 140. Those are solid career numbers. He's also been sacked 419 times over the course of his career. He was sacked 42 times in 2013 and 33 times this past season. So that's important. A quarterback like Roethlisberger, he's only going to be successful if he stays on his feet and finds the open receiver. And they're going to need time to let a play develop. Let those, big. You can't make a 40-yard reception, a 40-yard pass play, and expect it to be an 8-yard pass and then have the guy run it 32 yards. Those happen for sure, but if you want to make big plays, you got to have time to let the play develop. And in order for that to happen, Roethlisberger's got to stay on his feet. So that's good. They dropped nine sacks from the year previous. So if they can get this upcoming year down to maybe only 25 sacks this season on him, then that's solid. So obviously the offensive line is doing their job well. That's obviously something you want to see improve, because 42 sacks in a season, that's 2.5 sacks a game kind of thing. Get it down to 33. Now he's only maybe 2 sacks a game. You keep dwindling that number down, and you're going to be more successful the more your quarterback's on his feet. So that's good. Obviously, looking at their defense kind of thing, Timmons is solid inside linebacker last year, 132 combined tackles with 2 sacks. He's kind of the guy that is the cornerstone of that linebacking core, for sure. You have other players in there as well. Gay, cornerback, obviously 69 combined tackles, 3 picks. Mitchell, who's a free safety, 41 combined tackles and 2 forced fumbles. Hayward, who's a defensive end, 53 combined tackles, 7.5 sacks. And then Harrison, obviously James Harrison came back to the team, 45 combined tackles, 5.5 sacks. So you have guys that can make an impact, and that's how a team's gonna be successful. Is Roethlisberger can go out there and throw 300 plus yards a game, and Bell can run for 100 and all that kind of stuff. But if the defense can't stop the opposition, then you're gonna have a tough time winning your games. Obviously, big loss obviously to their defense is Polamalu retiring this upcoming year. He was head and shoulders, excuse the pun, above the other safeties in the league, I think, for the good chunk of his career, the last few years for sure, as well. He's just a guy that when he's on the field, quarterbacks are going to be looking for him. There's certain teams have those kind of players where when a quarterback gets up to the line, before he snaps the ball, he looks at the defense and says, where's this specific player? And Polamalu is that kind of guy. Before the quarterback snaps the ball, he's going to say, where's Polamalu? There he is. Okay, perfect. I know, probably to avoid that area of the field. But Polamalu can cover a lot of ground as well. So they're going to have to find a way to replace Polamalu at the safety position. So I'm going to segue that into the draft, is what they do with the draft. Obviously, Landon Collins, is really the only safety that's a first-round kind of pick. There's a lot of safeties available in the draft for sure, but he's really only the first one, the first one that will get drafted of all the safety positions. He'll be the first one drafted and the only one that's projected, at least in my mock draft, he's the only one projected to get taken in the first round. In my mock draft, I have him going 18th overall, and the Steelers have the 22nd overall pick. So they're close to where I think he's going to get taken. Do they trade up and get Collins? Kind of thing to replace Polamalu. That could add a lot of pressure onto Collins. He'll be joining a fantastic team, for sure. So it's not like he's going to be joining a team that's rebuilding and he's going to have to become the new face of the defense or anything like that. But he's going to be stepping into a team where the previous safety in Polamalu was, a Pro Bowler and a big face of the franchise kind of thing. But you draft him now, he's solid and young, you got your safety position, taken care of for the next 5+ years, depending on how long you can keep him on your team kind of thing. So that's what I think they might do, is maybe they can draft Collins. He might drop down to them at 22. Don't see it happening, so maybe they'll trade up and grab him kind of thing. You're going to look at the free agent market as well kind of thing. See, maybe there's something out there still that they could grab. Also, when training camp start up, teams are going to cut players. There might be a safety that comes available there that teams are trying to cut for salary cap purposes or anything like that. So keep an eye on the rest of the offseason. The draft's coming up, and see maybe the Steelers can luck out and get Collins and fill their safety position that way. So good luck to the Steelers this upcoming year. Hopefully they can repeat a 11-5 record, maybe even go 12-4 or something great like that. Tough AFC North opponents in the Bengals, Ravens, and the Browns are turning in the corner. I think they're going to get better. Thanks again for watching. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at gham614, and I'll be finishing off Pittsburgh week tomorrow with my look at the Pirates of the MLB. Bye.